Okay, I'm Bob White. I'm a partner at Givens Pursley, and I'm here today to interview Deb Grasham, the Distinguished Lawyer for 2021, which is the Distinguished Lawyer is given to an attorney or attorneys each year who have distinguished themselves in the profession through exemplary conduct and many years of service to the profession and to the Idaho citizens. So Deb, congratulations.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
So you and I have known each other for a long time. I got to the firm in 1998, and you arrived a year later in 1999. So we've been friends and partners for 22 years.
22 years. Yeah, I can't believe how fast that goes, huh?
Yeah, I know. And the amazing thing is that we don't look any different than we did when we first met.
Absolutely.
So we've worked on some cases together. The one that sticks out in my mind is when you came to the firm, you were a First Amendment lawyer, and you asked me to help on a First Amendment case. I was happy to do so. I found out later that what you really needed was somebody to prepare live nude entertainers as witnesses and then take our expert to the live nude entertainment venues in Boise. I've got to tell you, there's nothing like walking into one of those venues and having the talent wave at you and call you by your first name like you're Norm from Cheers. But do you remember that case?
Oh yeah, and you're welcome, by the way,
Yes.
for that too. Yeah, you're welcome. It's called freedom of expression. Right, exactly.
Yeah, that was, that was a pretty high profile case in Boise. Do you remember how it came out?
We won.
We did.
We challenged, Boise had passed an ordinance prohibiting certain nudity in public, and we represented some performers who disagreed with that, and we brought it to Judge Windmill. That was an interesting case, and we're able to prevail on First Amendment grounds and freedom of expression. And again, you're welcome.
Yes. So that was the first kind of big case I remember you having at Givens Pursley, But how did you get here? How did you get to Idaho and Givens Pursley? Where'd you grow up?
So I'm not an Idaho native, even though I've been in Idaho longer than I've been anywhere else. I grew up in the Bay Area. My family is in the Bay Area. I went to school at Berkeley, go Bears, and played volleyball there. And after college, went to Santa Clara. And for all intents and purposes, thought I'd spend my career in and around the Bay Area. Had accepted a job in San Francisco at a large firm, and because fate has a way of changing best made plans, I ended up moving to Seattle for family reasons and began with a firm there. Was really lucky to be with a national firm called Davis Wright Tremaine, and fell into this great practice of First Amendment law and litigation. I was always a litigator, but there were some really nationally known media lawyers there who really took me under their wing and had a wonderful experience. And then again, fate stepped in another 5.5 years, found myself moving to Boise. And I was able to stay with that firm to start here, and that was in January of '96. My third bar, California, Washington, and Idaho. And in the old days, you actually sat for a bar and hand wrote it out. There was no reciprocity, there was no computers. But once I got to Idaho, I said, this is it. I'm not moving again. And started in Boise in January of '96. And a few years later, found again another opportunity and was found myself at Givens Pursley in '99 and have been here ever since, very happily ever since at Givens Pursley. It's really been a right fit for me.
Well, just as impressive to me, and we're talking about distinguished lawyers, and one of the things that I think distinguishes you is the amount of time and the number of things that you've done outside of billable private practice work. The state courts, you've been president of the Bar Association, the Ninth Circuit representative for the federal courts, Idaho Legal History Society. You've really done a lot of things in the non-client-driven practice of law or participation with the bar. Tell us a little bit about that, but not necessarily that here's the list of stuff on my CV. But why did you do it? What's the reward? What do you get out of it? How has that formed or occupied your time over the last 20 years?
It's been a great part of my time. I mean, I've looked at doing pro bono work, whether it be for the courts, whether it be the CASA stuff, whether it be for other organizations in your community, as just part of what we do as lawyers or what is expected of us in the profession. And it may be expected, but to me, it's also been fun. You get to meet really interesting people. And for those of us who are working in a building and going to court and doing our particular practice area, being involved in these kind of organizations may be helpful to that organization, but really gives you or me the opportunity to meet folks you might not have otherwise had the opportunity to do and get to interact with them. When I was on the Board of Commissioners, we always had to travel around the state for the district court road shows, and that was eye-opening because I got to meet really smart, amazing lawyers all over the state. And having not grown up here, that was eye-opening to me. That was just like, we have such quality lawyers practicing in every corner of the state, and I really enjoyed that. And one thing led to another, and I mean, really, if you look at my career, really the only thing that you can say that really marks it is I've always tried to take advantage of the next opportunity, whatever that is. And after I was on the Bar Commission, then I worked at the federal courts, and that opened up different opportunities. And I found myself most recently interested in legal history. It started off with Idaho and my work on this project called the First 50 Women in Idaho, and that has now blossomed out to, I'm the chair of the Ninth Circuit Historical Society. So it's been just amazing, and now I get to meet all these lawyers from all over the Ninth Circuit, including judges. And so I feel blessed that I'm able to do that kind of work and get to meet those folks and interact when, not a lot of people get those opportunities. So I just been super happy doing all of that.
Over the course of the years that you've been in practice, what would you label as your biggest achievement?
There's a couple things come to mind, but when I think about achievements, and the thing that will live past me, other than my family, of course, is my work on the First 50 Women project.
And just explain what that is for people that that weren't here while you were doing it.
Sure. So when I served on the Bar Commission 2002 to 2005, I realized I was only the third woman to have served in that spot. And so I became interested in who were the women that came before me, having, again, not grown up in Idaho. So I started looking into who those women were, which then led to this bigger project about who was the first woman that was admitted in Idaho, and then who was the second. And those were not questions that were easily answered. So I delved into that, and over the course of the year, I collected the histories of the first 50 women that were admitted in Idaho from 1895, before women had the right to vote, Helen Young, all the way through the 70s, with some of our current practitioners. And in doing that, I was able to collect a lot of information that no one had ever pulled together before. And I really became concerned that if I had not pulled that together and been able to share it with other folks, that all that information would be lost again, that their stories would not be told. So while I was on the Board of Commissioners, I was able to pull that together, and we put together, for lack of a better word, a book, and held an event in 2005 where we invited all the surviving women to this event called the First 50 Women in Idaho Law. And we were able to pull this off. And at the time, it was the single largest event that the bar had put on that was not a bar meeting. Mm-hmm. And it was just one of these really feel-good events. And a lot of the women came through, including this woman, Ray Osaka, who her family had been interned during World War II. She was at law school. She spoke, very inspiring. So when I think about what will outlive me, it's going to be something like that project and capturing that history and the stories of those remarkable women. So I'm really proud of that.
And we've kind of talked about things. Is there anything else? Any sort of final comments to wrap this up?
Well, I want to thank you, Bob, for doing this. And really, I want to make sure I thank my family, my folks, my sisters, their families, obviously my husband, Charlie, and my two boys who've been with me through all of this. It's been a remarkable experience. I am so humbled. Thank you to everyone for this award. I really appreciate it.